This Akashic Records reading is not for everyone, because what I'm picking up on was not meant to be openly shared. And I want you to just settle in for a moment, because as I began accessing your Akashic Records, the energy didn't come through in a typical way. It didn't feel open. It didn't feel expressive. It felt contained, controlled, like something that existed within boundaries, not because it lacked power, but because it was too powerful to be freely expressed. And as I moved deeper into your records, that became clearer. You held knowledge, not surface-level understanding, not something that could be easily explained, but something deeper, something that wasn't taught to everyone, something that had to be earned or entrusted. And I need you to understand this part clearly. You didn't stumble into this knowledge. You were chosen to receive it. There's a setting forming now, structured, intentional, not chaotic or primitive. This feels organized, almost hierarchical, like there were levels of access, and you were not at the bottom. You had already passed through stages, proven your awareness, demonstrated your ability to hold information without distortion. That's important, because not everyone could. There were others around you, but not all of them knew what you knew, and there was a clear understanding of that. Information was not shared equally. It was distributed carefully, and you were trusted with something that others were not. I keep coming back to this feeling. You knew things you couldn't always say, not because you didn't want to, but because you weren't supposed to. There were boundaries around what could be spoken, what could be revealed, and who could receive it. And you respected that. You understood the weight of what you carried, because this wasn't just knowledge for curiosity. This was knowledge that could influence outcomes, that could shift direction, that could change how people moved, how they thought, how they acted. And not everyone was ready for that, so you learned restraint. You learned when to speak and when to stay silent. And I'm feeling this very strongly. There were moments where you wanted to say more, where you could see something clearly, see where something was heading, see the truth of a situation, and you had to hold it back, not out of fear, but out of awareness, because you understood consequences. You understood that truth in the wrong moment or in the wrong hands could create disruption. And that created a kind of internal tension, because you were aware, but not always able to express that awareness fully. There's also something here about observation. You weren't just someone who held knowledge. You were someone who was watched, not in a threatening way, but in a way that carried responsibility. Others were aware of your position. They knew what you had access to, and there was an expectation that you would handle it correctly, that you wouldn't misuse it, that you wouldn't reveal what wasn't meant to be revealed. And you didn't. You honored that, even when it was difficult, even when it meant holding back, even when it meant standing in a space of knowing, while others moved forward without that awareness. And that's where this begins to connect to your current life. Because what I'm feeling now is that this pattern didn't end there. You carried it forward, not the exact circumstances, but the energy of it, the awareness, the restraint, the hesitation. There's something very specific here. You still know things before they're said. You still read situations quickly. You still pick up on underlying truth before it becomes obvious, but you don't always say it. You pause, you filter, you question whether you should speak, whether it's your place, whether it will be received correctly. And sometimes you choose silence, even when you know you're right, even when something in you is saying, this needs to be said. And that's not random. That's a continuation, because in that lifetime, your power came with responsibility, and that created a habit of holding back, of measuring your words, of protecting what you knew. But in this life, that pattern is shifting, because what I'm feeling is you're no longer in the same kind of restriction. You're not in a system where your voice has to be limited in the same way, but your body, your awareness, still remembers that pattern. So you default to it. You second guess. You soften. You hold back. And that's where the block is now. Not in your ability, but in your expression. Because your awareness is still there. Your perception is still sharp. Your ability to read energy, to understand people, to sense truth has not gone anywhere. But your willingness to trust and express it has been filtered. And I need you to hear this clearly. You are not imagining what you know. You are not overthinking what you feel. You are perceiving accurately. You're just questioning whether you should act on it. And that's the shift that's happening now, because you're being pulled back into alignment, not with secrecy, but with clarity. Not with silence, but with expression. And that doesn't mean saying everything all the time. It means trusting yourself enough to know when to speak, because you already have that discernment. You already know when something matters, when something needs to be said, when something is important enough to express. You just override it, and that's what's changing. There's also something here about your voice, specifically. It carries weight, more than you realize. When you speak from that place of knowing, people feel it. Even if they don't fully understand it, they recognize it. And that can feel uncomfortable, because it puts attention on you, but it's also part of your alignment. Because your voice is not meant to be hidden, it's meant to be used with intention, just like before, but without the same level of restriction. And I'm feeling this very strongly. You've already been moving toward this. There have been moments where you said something, and it landed exactly the way it needed to. Moments where you trusted yourself, and it was right. Those are not coincidences. Those are confirmations. And the more you lean into that, the more natural it becomes. The more you step out of that old pattern of holding everything in, because you're not meant to carry it all silently anymore. You're meant to share, to guide, to express in a way that aligns with who you are now, not who you had to be then. So if this is resonating, if you feel that recognition, that quiet understanding, that sense of, I've done this before, that's not random, that's memory. And it's surfacing now for a reason, because you're ready to move differently, to trust yourself more, to express what you know without shrinking it, without questioning it, and without holding it back out of habit. So just take a breath and notice what's coming up for you right now. Because that awareness, that clarity, that recognition, that's the shift. And it only deepens from here. If this resonated with you, if it felt like something within you was being acknowledged, you can like and subscribe and allow the messages that are meant for you to continue finding you.